Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kingzone looking a bit more like themselves there in game number 2. Closed it out pre-30 minutes and shut down BBQ. Basically looks like a perfect game, but they were able to take the Rift Herald at the end, but that's literally it.
Yeah, I mean, the Rift Herald doesn't even have a box on our scorecard, so unfortunately, both in-game and in this particular overlay, it looks like they were perfect gamed, and, you know, basically was one, right? Achilles, it was a very good performance by Kingzone. The Rift Herald was the only thing that Trick could find in the early game because the ganks were not there. The lanes, being Corki and Kha'Zix, they weren't cooperating with it either. And it was a much cleaner Kingzone game than we've seen in recent memory after the IgNar series and also game 1 here.
Call it a 5-star performance there for
sure.
Kingzone.
Let's focus on the positives, and the positive was Peanut. Early game, buff to buff, ganking at level 2. Didn't need any more levels. Goodbye, Kha'Zix. Nothing he can do. Repeated the trick, and unfortunately, Kha'Zix just was a non-factor in this game.
Yeah, 100% kill participation, and Peanut will also slide up and become tied for 4th place. We have several people tied up here at the moment. We have 5 now at this point, and this is how things got started.
This is the reality of top lane Kha'Zix. Achilles is that, you know, you have
short
to,
lane.
No short lane, a very long lane for him to walk down, and they didn't know where Sejuani was, so they decided, okay, we're going to flash after this one, guarantee the kill on Rascal so he can finish his Remnant of the Watchers. I looked up the APGP10 item so I could say it correctly. And then he tried to teleport into lane, and that also was not quite a kill onto Crazy, but needed his jungler just to be able to get to the CS line. So much threat there, and then as the game finally ended, they would get into the back line, blow up people with Hemoplague from the Vladimir. Rascal comes in, and they don't miss a trick. They will move into game 3 very comfortably.
Don't miss a trick. All right, so I was wrong. 9-way tie, actually, for 4th place right now in our MVP. So a lot of people kind of bottling up near the top, but very few able to get up closer to Tucson and Deft. FLICKR, the only one sitting there in sole possession of 3rd place. We'll see if Peanut can climb up even higher here as we go into game number 3, or if BBQ will be able to pull off the upset. They're back over onto that blue side. We'll see how different their draft is going to be this time around, but the Galio still will be taken away.
It was a lot of mid lane bans, opening up a first pick Zoe in game 1, and Zoe's still left open, but the Skarner certainly is not. That was the big duo there in game 1 for BBQ on the blue side.
Still time for that to be dealt with here, but yeah, the Rise also coming through. We saw Talia as the 3rd ban from BBQ, and Zoe will be joining the Skarner.
So let's talk about what isn't being banned here. Alistar was left open in game 2, so probably no big cost there. The Blitzcrank is going to be left open as well in game 3.
I would think so.
So could just be a first pick Azir here for BBQ with so many mid lane bans already. And the Azir is banned, so guess what, guys? We might see some new stuff. Victor's looking pretty good right about now.
Maybe we will finally see it locked in, but as you mentioned, Alistar also available. The Kalista that Ghost had in game 1 is also on the board, so it seems like they'll snatch that up. We'll see if Prey wants to go back to the Ezreal for the 3rd time in a row.
Alistar here on red side would make a lot of sense to me, but the Gangplank being available sometimes causes those sort of plans to change. Vladimir as a potential answer to it means they could have gone for Ezreal Alistar and then taken Vladimir later, so let's see. They're going to at least play some mind games. It's been something that Kingzone have done pretty consistently. Try to play the mind games against BBQ. So Ezreal part of it is locked in. See if they want to claim the GP or if it will be the Alistar as I originally thought.
Makes a lot of sense. One of the Gorilla's all-time best champions, and a big takeaway from IgNar, who has had the Alistar banned away from him in multiple matches, but wow, very early lock on an Orianna for BDD.
And Orianna's very out of meta here in Korea. Finally seeing it in the LCS. Many mid laners, including Jensen playing that one. We're going to see it heavily prioritized when there were other picks that could have been considered. Interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Priority there.
A shocking wave of priority even. Well, we'll see what BBQ wants to do. They can still go for Kalista Rakan if they want to. Kalista Alistar, we mentioned, might be taken away. Could be considered. Do they want to just lock in a mid lane and not have to worry about more mid lane bans coming through? It's something they might want to consider. Malzahar available, an old favorite of Tempt. The Corki is going to be locked, so saying, okay, Orianna not the most presence in the laning phase. Feel like we had the right tonic in game 1, but maybe went too heavy with the Kha'Zix top, so they're going to go with the Corki again in game 2.
Final pick here for Kingzone before we go back into the bans, and seems like even with the Alistar available, might just be sticking with the Ezreal Tahm Kench yet again. See though, long hover, and there we go. We'll lock it in the end.
Just trying to trivialize the single engage of the Sejuani, but when you see the Kalista, you know someone else is going to be hurdled into the back line, so it won't just be answering all of the engage on the side of BBQ.
So top jungle here for Kingzone. Support top lane for BBQ as we start moving forward. The Camille will be banned away.
Waiting to see there's another mid lane ban, or if Kingzone's happy to leave, whatever the choice is for BBQ in the last round. It'll be top lane ban here, suggesting maybe a Gnar coming through from Rascal, but it could also be the GP that has gone through the first round of picks this game.
Still be banned away here.
Banning of Vladimir might have to provoke a GP ban.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Oh, there we go.
They'll just answer with the GP early. Could just be GP Vlad banned away by the side of BBQ if they want. So Gnar and Vlad are the interesting ones I'm thinking of at this point.
Kingzone wanted to be very disrespectful. They could ban the Cassidy right now.
I mean, they banned the IgNar, so they already had a bit of fun with their bans.
They wish that they could have banned the IgNar in the first game. They banned the Blitzcrank.
That's right. I mean, they're the same thing for me. We don't have Mad Life anymore. Feels bad.
Well, Braum will be the final.
A strange Braum ban. I mean, it does answer the Ezreal ultimate very well. It does stop the ball in mid-flight, but it didn't seem like it was demanded with how the draft has gone so far. Waiting on BBQ's read here, because it feels a bit peculiar as pick and ban have gone so far. Yeah, Gnar and Vlad, the big top laners, still available as we go on. It will still be available. The Zac band here was a great pick from Peanut last time out. We've given them a lot of backline access as they hovered the Xinjiao.
That would be
it's played from time
crazy
to time
to see, but
in other regions like China, but never in Korea.
It's been quite. I would love to see the OGN stat pulling up the last time we've had Xinjiao locked in.
That would have been a long time ago.
Well, Kha'Zix has made his way through, and Peanut might just be happy to snatch this one up, and with no time left on the clock, they will lock this in.
Yeah, we thought we might see it in Game 2, but eventually was answered. Did not see a Kha'Zix there. We will see it here. So unless Rascal's going to go for a pure tank topside, it's going to be a pretty squishy lineup on the side of Kingzone DragonX. No real ball carrier apart from the stealthed Kha'Zix coming out of a bush with Moby Boots.
Gnar would have been a pretty good one, but it seems like BBQ might be taking this one away, which means probably not a Vladimir here for Rascal.
You say that, but maybe you go for the self-counter pick just because you want to get on top of the Kalista and the Corki. I don't think I'm not going to willing to rule it out completely. We'll see what Rascal makes of all of this. Again, this season, Camille, Alawi, Vladimir, and Ornn has been his champion pool. Ornn, I guess, a possibility, even if the laning phase is going to be too happy.
Ornn, maybe Scion for Rascal.
Yeah. Everyone can play Scion. That's something we've learned.
Charge in, throw the ball on him, get the shockwave on impact.
All things considered, we do see Kalista Rakan, and Rakan is really strong at tying up Orianna in particular. Wants to make that perfect decision on the shockwave. Bait's call into Grand Entrance quickness can be a great answer to that. So Kingzone thinking about their options. Self-counter pick Vladimir is available. The Ornn would be a bit of reliable engage. Something they don't really have. Not a ball carrier, though. It would have to be the Kha'Zix, you'd imagine, in this scenario. Will be locked in. If it's something he's played, it is something that, of course, was nerfed pretty heavily on patch 8.2, but the early trades against Gnar actually go very decently. Gnar could turn into a severe split pusher, which will put a wrench in the plans for Kingzone, but if we see Peanut jump in on the Kha'Zix early and get going, maybe he'll be able to set the tone for Game 3 as he was able to in Game 2.
We saw the Ornn holding his own when piloted by Crazy up in the top lane for a decent amount of time there versus Khan's Gangplank. Let's see how Rascal is going to handle it going into the Gnar here. BBQ want to bounce back. They want to regain some of that momentum that they lost in game number 2. No Cassidy this time around. No Caitlyn Bard bot lane, a bit more standard from these guys. We'll see how they can handle it now that they're back over onto the blue side.
Let's roll in here. Game 3 between Kingzone and BBQ. Feels like a bonus. We didn't think we would get this, but after Game 1, sent BBQ over the line. Now into Game 3 here. Peanut on the Kha'Zix, so far undefeated this season. Projecting more aggression. Trick couldn't get it together on Game 2 on the Sejuani. Sejuani, so far this series, has not reaped much fruit.
Yeah.
Can he make it work in Game 3?
Fell pretty far short there. It's something very standard here for Tempt, the Corki. Nothing too flashy, but something that can be consistent. We'll see if he can have a better game than game number 2 here. We'll see if Trick can get things rolling with this Sejuani. See if he's going to pay more attention down to that bottom side of the map yet again. Now that they have that Kalista back, they have the Rakan, they have a lot of crowd control to offer up. Let's see if BBQ can close this out, get the upset, or if Kingzone will win it at the end of the day. Kingzone and BBQ fans alike all hanging in there.
BBQ win on the coordinated signs, though. Just raising the same "we will fry the game" signs they were raising in Game 2. Didn't work for them there, but that game felt like pick and ban really held down any real opportunities for BBQ. IgNar could be a big playmaker here.
What is that?
That's Cloud Templar.
That is Cloud Templar.
Cloud Templar going for some gender bending, as he's known to do.
Oh yeah. I'm sure everyone remembers his wonderful video with Dongjun.
Brought it out for one of the finals intros, I think, as well last year. So one of the standard memes here of the Korean broadcast. Orianna versus Corki. Another blast from the past. We saw this lane so many times. Not recently.
I had forgotten about it, honestly.
Orianna priority in this draft also very surprising how the season has gone. We've seen a couple of Orianna games. I believe all of them were losses, though. Getting value out of the Shockwave with how much mobility has been on the Rift.
Those Game 2 stats there for Trick.
Yeah, the Zero's not looking very good, is it?
Oh, brother.
Level 1, actually, grand entrance into Prey.
Yeah, that's just going to be a Night Zone down here onto Ghost. Gorilla trying to get the Devour. Doesn't flash in for it, though. Almost certainly would have transitioned into a kill, but doesn't want to push too far forward.
Does end up being a very big one trade, though. See a lot of Q and W level 1 from the Rakan, but here went for the W, won an all-in trade, didn't get it. The end result is complete lane control to Kingzone.
A lot of dominance being shown here by Praying Gorilla. Something that we've come to expect from these guys, not only from just the performance, but also their veteran status here in the LCK.
If you leave Praying Gorilla to their devices, if it is just a pure 2v2 laning phase where the jungler isn't able to wildly swing it towards the enemy team, you're right. It is going to be very predictable. It's also a very defensive lane that they've drafted here with the Tahm, Kench, Ezreal. A lot of options, even if the jungler is ganking, to disengage and not be punished any true way. Jungler on the top side this time. It's level 4 from the Scuttle Crab.
That's on the roam down. Will get spotted out by that ward, I do believe. Maybe he was just out of vision for now, as he does start up those Krugs. Will be showing soon, but going for a dive this early into the game with the Kha'Zix as your jungler. Not going to be the most advised thing.
Summon an Airy taken from Orianna, very standard. Has gone for the stopwatch and the minion dematerializer in the inspiration tree. Comes to the runes here. Not too much to talk about. Another lethal tempo game coming through from the Kalista. Fleet footwork from the Gnar, so looking to get a lot of hyper procs in the mid game with the extra movement speed that provides. And also the sustain in lane, of course. Where this game goes is very interesting. Orianna heavily prioritized. No true ball carrier apart from Kha'Zix coming out from stealth. Sejuani is bot side, but very difficult to find a gank when it's Tahm, Kench, Ezreal, so it's going to back away. Don't have a lot of access to the back line here for Kingzone, so they have to be able to kill the front line. Trick is usually the person who's going to be caught in most of the shockwaves, and maybe actually it's caught now, as Peanut was looking. Was hunting for a Sejuani.
Pushing his way forward, but didn't quite get in range fast enough. Tempt in the meanwhile here, taking quite a bit of damage in these exchanges with BDD. Trying to stay healthy. The Doran Shield offering up a bit of sustain. Not nearly as much as he would like. TP here from IgNar, just joining in by the Raptors.
Gets him most of the way to lane, and of course he's just going to be needing to hit lane when Kalista gets there, so no need to go for a teleport elsewhere. Doesn't mean he's going to be laning without a combat summoner, something that can be taken advantage of by Kingzom. We don't expect Peanut to be making a visit there, so 2v2 kills with Tahm, Kench, Ezreal, unlikely, offensively or defensively. A lot of vision clearing, really. The only story to talk about here. Much more muted start to the game after a bit more action. Game 1 and Game 2.
I think both sides, after having rough games, Kingzone in Game 1, BBQ in Game 2, just kind of want to play this one out and ensure victory as much as humanly possible for themselves. And that sweeper just missing the ward again.
What is it about these sweepers so far this game? A couple of near misses, but that does mean that vision will be cemented on the respawn timer of the Grump on the top side for BBQ. It'll be a very, very extended farm phase for the mid lane. Tempt not going to get greedy and go for anything like Cull. Either Doran Shield for the early trades, just because of the walking up to queue the minion, the backline wave here. As a Corki with the Phosphorus Bomb, you just often opt into, at minimum, a command attack, with sometimes attack dissonance trade from an Orianna. To summon an area on top of that, you need to be at least a little bit respectful in your opening item. Was able to get a shop in before BDD was, though, so theoretically at some point BDD will give up lane control over to the Corki.
See how long BDD is comfortable sticking around.
For now, his jungler is just power farming, so there hasn't been any need for him to react. No need for control wards to come down either, because they're not going to be threatening any globals with the Orianna just completely chained to the mid lane. One of the reasons we see so little Orianna in the LCK is there's been a heavy preference on 1-3-1 ability. Ryze, for example, in a side lane, but so many mid lane bans, Taliyah and Ryze both accounted for. The Galio as well. All three of them have side lane threat. All three of them can side lane themselves and have those semi-globals. So with all three banned away, BDD actually feels comfortable enough to take a pure mid laner in the Orianna.
Still just shocked as to how early into the draft he was willing to pick that up without seeing really anything from BBQ, aside from the Kalista.
I guess it may have been in a preview of a Zac pick for strong engage, but when the Zac was banned away, you aren't left with as clean ball carriers, and Peanut hasn't been able to do any battle warding on the Kha'Zix so far. He's been farming so far and trying to track down the Sejuani. He has the blue buff respawn timer, so he's in the same area. Yeah, but for now, it seems just to be Scuttle Crab for Peanut.
Slow and steady wins the race seems to be the story right here. Peanut going to be pushing in, looking for the blue buff. Down to about 1,000. Tempt is here as well. He's going to get locked up, gets bursted down with the Phos Bomb, jumps over the wall. Auto attacks coming through. Peanut, the flash in from Tempt will take him down. First blood goes to BBQ. BDD just going to go ahead, throws the ultimate down on himself, flashes away, can't quite catch Tempt. And just like that, the over-aggression from Peanut on this Kha'Zix costs him his life.
And this looks very simple, as it's basically a point-blank ultimate coming through from the Sejuani. Didn't get level 6 from the blue, already had it. Of course, the smite did go the way of Peanut. From there, nothing doing. Nothing that BDD could do to back him up. Now BDD's flash is down as well, and his Tempt will have the greater mobility and first roam from the mid lane. So a big cost there. It looked like a freebie, but it dragged on. The Corki was in position, and they make Peanut pay.
Bad way to kick things off here for Kingzone. 22,000 gold off the back of that kill. See Rascal is going to be down very slightly there in the top lane as far as the CS is concerned. Peanut, we'll see how he wants to bounce back from that, whether that just means more safe farming or trying to gank another lane. We'll have to see as time goes on.
The guarantees of this Orianna comp are lower than in other metas, just because I feel like Rakan answers a Orianna so well. Really wants to pull the trigger on a perfect shockwave, but don't have as much time when you're hurried by Grand Entrance quickness and the Fate's Call. Very interesting compositionally here. It's all about killing the front line of BBQ. Backline access when you only really have Kha'Zix or the shockwaves against the backline. It's very unrealistic for KingZone. As the first strike of the game will go the way of BBQ. Feeling good getting all the objectives at the start here.
Oh, a massive improvement off of game 2. Feeling a bit more like game number 1. Good start from them, but they need to maintain it. Ride it all the way out to the end. KingZone, of course, might not be a Nazir, but they still have that massive late-game wombo potential with the Orianna. And that damage can just sneak up on you when you least expect it.
But then also, if Ornn is made immortal in the front line, the Corki and Kalista can do a number on the side of KingZone. So I'm not willing to put a number or even choose between the scaling of the two teams. I think there is quite a lot of equality there. Also, is some unknown factors where Crazy goes pretty heavy on damage. Maybe there's a way that he can actually harass Rascal out of lane, but unlikely with pure tank Ornn coming through. And that means that if we don't see a snowball, it could be sitting back in our chairs and waiting for this game to unfurl.
Already sitting back, waiting for this one to kick off. Feel like I'm kind of back on vacation.
First round robin will go 107 games, Killers. The last game of the first round robin, but don't worry, guys. No more League of Legends coming. When we eventually get through this series, will be first game of the second round robin. KSV versus Kongdu Monster. KSV still without a win in 3, which seems crazy given how good the start of the season was.
Yeah, taking down KingZone at the start. But you'd expect Kongdu Monster should fall rather easily at their hand, but you would have said the same thing about this matchup here for KingZone. A lot of upsets
this week
have been occurring so far.
It's on a simple level. FLICKR have dropped a series.
BDD and Peanut wrapping around, maybe looking for Trick here. Shockwave does come down, drags him back in, but the point spike's not going to connect, and now TPs are being thrown out just like that Sedge ultimate that goes wide. BDD stays alive with the stopwatch for the moment, but now with the arrival of IgNar, they pop him up and they take him down as Tempt finds the kill. Rascal trying to get the 1v1 kill here onto Crazy, but he takes a short hop over the wall and will stay alive.
That was a really interesting turn there. On the replay, I'll talk about it, but what happened was that Trick wanted to just Arctic Assault away. BDD was body blocking him, standing on top of him, going for the self-shockwave to stop the Sejuani from getting away. But remember, his flash is down during this play. BDD won't be able to get out if there's any sort of turn. The unsealed spellbook laning of the Rakan turns this around. BDD accounted for the Arctic Assault interrupt, but not for the Rakan to be there. You're right, perfect timing on the entrance there. Coming through from the Rakan does undo BDD's attempt at the next level, and now it's 2 kills up for BBQ.
2 kills and about 2,000 gold. So putting the numbers up on the board rather quickly here for BBQ. Full objective control so far. Herald was not finished. They peeled away from that as Prey walks dangerously far forward. Tahm Kench is now there to back him up, however. So the window of opportunity closed here for BBQ.
Window of time is going to take Corki to be relevant is also closing. He is already Merc
2-0.
2-0. He's got all the kills in the game. This is a Corki that could do nothing in game 2. Same player jumping onto it in Tempt. This time around in a much better spot.
Prey, however, with his Mystic Shot accuracy, showing off quite a bit, chunking out Ghost. They need to keep those potions rolling.
They need to get control somewhere. The duo lane now. The Iceborne Gauntlet Rush is the one place they can now that Corki's much more comfortable. In the mid lane, 2 kills up. That scaling's going to be ahead of time. 3-item Corki, if that's coming in around 30 minutes. Just an Ornn for a frontline isn't going to be enough for the side of KingZone. So they're going to try and increase the pace of the game, end the laning phase. Peanut's bot lane, they want this turret now.
Yeah, seems like they will be able to take this. Crazy is firing away at the top tier 1 there, but won't be able to break it fast enough. Can't quite see how low it is as Rascal now rejoins him in the lane, so it seems like they will be able to hold on to their turrets for now. Trick will start up this Rift Herald yet again. It's not Vision. But Invisible Warrior is actually going to come through, so they know that this is happening. Rift Herald going to go low. Seems like they might be able to take this one away. No, Smite just a bit too early, but they can still punish Trick here with a kill. He'll get popped up, but they call the Forge God and will go down as Peanut feels a bit vindicated getting that kill here onto his enemy jungler.
It's only a kill, though. They weren't able to cancel the Rift Herald being picked up by the Sejuani. Largely during his death animation, was also picking up the Rift Herald, so is able to take that away. They're taking the turret bot side, so trying to push in, harass mid lane, but Ghost had already roamed up, so no ability to push there. Just breathing themselves into life. Warrior Enchant finished, and suddenly on the front foot at Kingzone. Getting a bit of damage onto his top lane turret, but nothing massive.
Trying to get a little bit there, a little bit of chip damage, but not going to be contributing too much. But Rascal would love to keep the wave as far away from his own turret as humanly possible. You can see it's barely got any HP left as far as the minimap can tell us.
That action is now slow. Going to return to a laning phase. Corki going to go into the side lane as teleport available and the Trinity Force. So drawing Orianna into a side lane is a lane assignment win for the side of BBQ. Orianna a lot more, just like Kassadin top in game 2, is going to be a lot more exposed in a long lane. Not have as easy access to the blue buff either. So duos meet mid. There is that
Rift Herald.
Rift Herald, yeah.
Really getting popped up, chunked down to about half HP as he gets frozen, but he still has the shield that he can pop. And it seems like this turret is going to say goodbye as BBQ claim their first and maintain about a 1,500 gold lead here, 16 minutes in.
The kill going on to BDD earlier. Got a lot more chip damage than you'd expect in the Orianna versus Corki matchup in the first 15 minutes. Item timing's coming early. The Orianna's turret going down early means that now really she only has side lanes. That's super deep coming through from Rascal.
Yeah, looking to wrap around from the backside. Gorilla goes forward to the tongue clash. He's going to get popped up and maybe just get deleted. Gets the shield off in time, and now Rascal arrives in the back. And the first one that goes down is going to be Ghost now. Trick following suit shortly thereafter. Gorilla finds the kill, stays alive, and Kingzone, the pedal to the metal to go right back in onto this Ocean Drake and look to claim it for themselves.
Yeah, really good shot call by Kingzone. They knew the one area of the map that wouldn't be vision was defensively for BBQ. The blighted quiver there. Almost.
You never know.
But that's the one spot, why would you ever have vision when you were playing in the enemy jungle for the majority of the game? They had no idea where Rascal was. He comes out of the darkness with an ultimate. They think they're going to tie up Tahm, Kench and turn onto the Ocean Drake. Not to be. Very nice link-up play by Kingzone. Well executed. Whether it was Rascal's call or the team's, it was a great one. First feel-good moment for Kingzone this game. Basically all tied up now. One Drake each and no real gold lead to speak of.
Just a few hundred. 1-1 as far as the turrets are concerned. So a second lease on life, it would seem, here for Kingzone. As they wipe the slate clean, we'll see how they can press forward or how BBQ can turn this back around on its head, get into the driver's seat yet again.
BBQ have a lot of options in dictating where and when BDD can find farm. Mid lane's going to be difficult, it's long enough, and that with the teleport, Rakan already showing his feathers earlier, there's going to be a lot to respect in terms of potential flank teleports. So Orianna now side laning top lane. See Crown and FLICKR do this all the time, where they just have to recall and crash, wait for minion waves crashing to actually hit the farm. But of course, not going to be any teleport coming through from the Ori, no ability to react. So they can make the plays happen where the Orianna isn't. BBQ should have a big advantage. They have triple teleport on this lineup. 2 normally, and IgNar, of course. Looking for the playmaking as he's always known to do.
Right here, trying to chunk out Ghost, but the Blade of the Rune King done. He's got plenty of attack speed from the extra dagger there in his inventory. Just proving a bit too difficult to try to work the Kalista out of the lane. So pretty much just going to be a stalemate going back and forth. That comes out, not going to get the connection there, but Price still going to get slowed up. Call the Forge God coming through. We'll go ahead and counter it back as 3 members get knocked up, and the rest of Kingzone is collapsing in. Double pop up there from Rascal will claim the life of Ghost. Trick barely limps out, but Kingzone yet again are pushing aggressively. Prey especially so going forward, takes the turret shot. No wave here for them to whittle away at this tier 1, but Kingzone yet again find a kill.
Yeah, BBQ thought they had the drop, but the moment that the ult missed, they needed to back away. They had no vision on where the Ornn was coming from. It's turned around this time. Ghost dies in all of the commotion. BBQ feeling like they have to make plays, have to punish the fact that Orianna is top lane with no ability to rotate. Punishment doesn't happen. It's turned on its head, and Kingzone are picking up kills out of nowhere.
4-2 now. Barely swinging ahead as far as that gold is concerned, but still very minute differences between these two teams.
not the series for Sejuani.
It certainly is not. This is putting a bit of a dampener on this Sejuani, which has been, you know, one of the most banned champions that we have here in the LCK leading up to this patch.
I had one of the few games where Sejuani fell through picks and bans earlier this week, and then a series where she's definitely having a bit of a dampener. In all of that, Tempt was rotating first from the top side, and he's also getting a lot of damage onto the top lane. Outer turret, as you can see, but he was caught by Peanut during it. So Peanut chunked out the Corki while the enemy jungler missed the ultimate. So that was also a pretty big shift in momentum that helped Kingzone immensely.
Crazy now pushing forward. Have that Gnar ready to go, and Peanut's going to get locked up. Force the flash over the wall.
So I'm going to take him. Means he's less likely to react to Tempt, trying to return to the top side and scene of the crime and take out second turret of the game for BBQ. Sejuani could just come and body block where the control ward is from Kingzone and guarantee this turret, but for now, being drawn a lot lower, more central on the map. So the fallback happens from BBQ. Kingzone able to extend how long this turret is up top side. That means they extend how long Orianna has safe farm in a short lane. And that's really the gold standard, getting this Ori to at least the Leandros, but preferably as many AP items as possible.
Has been able to keep up, not allow Tempt to really slip that far forward, as CS is concerned.
Just those little moments, if you could actually freeze the last minute and a half or so and show how Kingzone with a 1 health or 1 auto attack top lane turret were able to corral BBQ into defending mid lane, and also Orianna to push in the top side and get some turret damage themselves. Sort of rotational play that every team can take and learn something from. Eventually, we expect the Corki to just walk up and get the auto off, but they're buying minutes more for Orianna to pick up farm that honestly shouldn't be there if BBQ had the same aggressive mindset they did in game 1.
He has whittled it down quite nicely. Tempt goes back, has to run right straight back up to the top lane to defend his own turret. Has rapid fire cannon ready to go. Certainly a larger threat now from range. There's this Corki. We will see BDD going back. So maybe the opportunity for BBQ to finally shatter that top turret.
There's 2 control wards around, so he has to be a little bit slower than he might want to, but Orianna's also basically saying, where's the last place we have a turret? I want to go there. She's going to go straight to bot lane. Try to pick up as much stray farm as possible.
Yeah, I'll just surrender this, but the look of things. Missile Voyage going to come through, however.
Trying to lay it further.
But I think the minions might be able to get it. It's going to be close. Oh. One more.
70 HP.
Just in time.
All of this to guarantee farm onto BDD. Again, it's the sort of thing that for players looking for tips from solo queue, that's not going to really tell you much. This is a very coordinated thing, but the highest level, buying extra time for farm is so important. Hitting item timing, knowing your relative strength, the damage output based on numbers.
Well, now, however,
so important, as just going to ignore Rascal and take the turret. But that was 3 minutes bought by some smart rotational play. They're turning onto Rascal.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and get locked down as Trick arrives, tries to flash away. Gorilla has the devour. We'll be able to spit him back out, so good roam there to help keep the Ornn alive, but now is down. The flash into the turret has been taken by BBQ, who jump ahead a slick 700 gold.
Hey, 700 in a game that's been this even is going to be relevant. Still have Kalista for the Ren secure, but no secondary way to chunk out a turret, and all of this, Kingzone, hit the mid lane turrets. That's a preferential trade when it comes to turret assignment.
They will go ahead and just tie things up, it as neck and neck as humanly possible.
Things you did not expect to say about BBQ versus Kingzone DragonX.
Not at all. Things that you wouldn't really expect to say against most teams versus Kingzone DragonX.
Well, FLICKR had a big stumble yesterday, and whatever the result for Kingzone, they've had a bit of a struggle here against BBQ as well. Maybe there is more parity between the two teams when we do finally see the hyped matchup of FLICKR versus Kingzone on Saturday.
Ray still just happy to sit right here in this mid lane, soak up all this CS. Got himself a nice little lead here over top of Ghost. He looks to build up his own Blade of the Ruin King. Actually just completes it right there.
Had a lot of lane rotations, so usually one player on each team is going to be suffering and be rotating second. It's been Rascal, which makes sense. He's just kind of there for an ultimate, and to take the Baron in turn with his Warmogs, so happy to go on a very low econ build, but like you mentioned, it is to some degree Ghost on the side of BBQ.
He also gives upgraded items to everybody else on his team who can afford them.
Still don't know the names of them. We'll still be inventing names as the game goes on. The Super Mega Locket has not been completed just yet.
Still a ways away from that. Opponents aren't really there.
Alright, so Prey is the one leashing the Cloud Drake. Is going to be there for the secure, so will be one more Drake spawn before the Elder is on the map. Not the most consequential though this game. So let's look at what the vision lines tell us, because this is a slower game, so we can kind of approach it from a couple of different ways. We mentioned already that Orianna finding farm is one of the flaws in the current meta. Doesn't side lane as well as Ryze and the other meta picks, so it's been on her team here to actually find safety. There's no safety for Kha'Zix.
Pop up there, the Devourer is there. However, to save him from Gorilla, as Prey has to flash over the wall into the Raptor pit to keep himself alive. TP's coming through, Rascal does TP in right into the front line. Call of Forge God not going to get any connections though. So likely no follow-up here for Kingzone, who have to actually start turning around. Dashes forward, looking for the hit, but can't find it. Kingzone will make it out safely, but BBQ, they're just going to charge straight down the mid lane. Thought maybe with the Kalista they'd go over to Baron, but instead they want the turret.
Yeah, the poke and pick misses from Kingzone. Oh boy!
Oh, that's going to be the Gnar ultimate into the wall. Gorilla makes it out with his life. Still has the shield ready to go. They get the pop-up in on a Crazy underneath the turret. He's taking the shots. He'll be able to make it out with his life, but barely so, and has to use the flash. So no further setups available for him as we go forward, but Kingzone barely hold on to their lives and that tower in mid.
Didn't seem like the team was on the back of the Gnar going in, so wasn't able to get any value, and like you said, the flash defensively. Kingzone continue to walk up. Ocean Drake will help a little bit, but they're still all very squishy. They're trying to turn on to BDD.
There's a TP into the back line, and BDD is going to get caught out. Prey and Gorilla coming in as they try to keep him alive. The Devourer is there, but BDD now has to flash forward into the Baron pit, and Prey is all on its lonesome, trying to kite his way back. Gets a True Shot Barrage off, does chunk out, goes pretty significantly, but Crazy is able to finish off the kill. The Shockwave not going to get the connection, and BDD is now running for the hills. Peanut goes invisible, jumps back in, tries to assassinate the Kalista, but just can't do it. Doesn't have the isolation damage, and BDD, he'll get popped up yet again, will get taken out this time by Tempt. And just like that, BBQ have control, and they're going to be looking for the Baron.
Yeah, Tempt teleports back in at full health after going for the little shop there and also getting his health back. They turn onto the Baron. They've got the secure. Peanut's alive. Can he go for one of these heroic steals? It's going to be difficult.
Still alive at the same time. He wasn't able to get the kill. That's going to be the Call of Forge God. Pops up Ghost. He goes low, but the ultimate connects there onto Peanut. He gets locked in, but Rascal goes. He gets rid of the Kalista. That's going to be the Baron. Still goes over to BBQ, but they're still wiping up the kills. 2 members dead. They will finish off Rascal in the end. Massive back and forth fight, but BBQ still come out on top with the Baron.
It was a 2.5-minute skirmish fight into Baron tape. We get the full replay here. BDD walks up to put out a ward out of range of most control wards, but then he's just Orianna in a side lane, the usual problem. Gorilla has to die for that ward to happen because BDD was obviously commanded to put it down by his team. And Prey is caught out of position. It looks like a bit of a conga line of death coming the way of BBQ, especially when the shockwave goes wide. One of the reasons we don't see so much Orianna is these shockwaves in high mobility games often do miss. Eventually BBQ pull back, start the Baron, smart target assignment there. They actually do take out Ghost, and suddenly the Smite War was on. It doesn't go the way of Kingzone. They also give up the deaths, so it is a big momentum swing, all things considered, to BBQ.
Yeah, very rare miss there by Peanut. BBQ able to pick it up. We'll see what they can gain here. Already surged forward a considerable amount as far as the gold is concerned.
And where that gold centered, Achilles, look at the Corki. You got the first 2 kills. In fact, that's 5 out of 7 and has an Infinity Edge to go on board the Baron buff. Immensely powerful. Only the Ornn can walk up, and only for so long. That's how fed this Corki is in this game. So have to try and take advantages around the Corki. Find a way to tussle him up. Shockwave on him will go a long way. But unless they can DPS him down, I think Corki is going to be the answer to every single question.
Yeah, nearly 100% kill contribution here from Tempt as the turret gets knocked down at half HP casually by this Corki. Try force Infinity Edge and the Rapid Fire Cannon. A monstrous amount of damage being offered up.
So much character from BBQ. This team lost to MVP in 23 minutes in the final series before the break.
Yeah.
Comes back, loaded in. Trick having a second run in the lineup. They look a lot better. Kind of said, you remember when we were talking commentary during that game, I said maybe Trick would come in for game 2. As the team looked like they were losing direction in the late game, having Bono, another rookie, on the lineup rather than all the experience that Trick brings. I think Trick has definitely helped shore up some of the shot calling shortcomings that BBQ have had. Finding a happy minimum of how to use Trick and Bono rather than just preferring one over the other seems to be the next step in the development for BBQ. Because again, win or lose, the amount of improvement we've seen between series is immense for BBQ. Huge.
Entire vacation break for Lunar New Year seems to have paid off quite well for these guys. Well, BBQ, Gnar, these squads that have been hovering around the bottom, picking up wins against the top 2 teams in the league right now. Well, FLICKR were top 2, KT now taking that title. At least for the moment, but BBQ looking to advance further forward here. Trying to get themselves away from that relegation hole.
Needs to see justification for the reach on the Orianna pick. Scoreline not massive, the Void Staff not completed. Once again, delay ultimate.
Torch God, yeah, just gonna get the pop up onto the Sejuani. Gonna buy themselves some time. Ulti comes out, does get the lockdown there onto Gorilla. He doesn't take much damage, but BBQ's just in it for the turret, which they will finish off. Now Ghost can turn his eyes onto the champions. Try to finish them off. Bray has taken quite a bit of damage. He's still going to be sticking around trying to poke out, but BBQ cutting back. He feels safe enough to go over to the fountain. Doesn't need to be here to protect his team.
Tempt flashed on him, trying to get the kill. Another crit perhaps would have taken him down. But only a heal used by Prey, so at least that's one small thing, is that Tempt flashes down. Bit of an extended period, no QSS, so there's always the chance you might get caught up in some sort of CC train. The Cloud Drake taken largely to spawn the Elder and find another way to close the game here for BBQ. So Elder will be spawning a lot earlier than some of our other games, around the 37-minute mark. Another potential headache for Kingzone is setting up for 2 objectives, both of which hold pretty immense value. Gatling gun proccing the Elder Dragon, one of those super powerful interactions. Very, very difficult for this pretty static team that needs to slowly move Orianna between battle to battle. Very difficult to set up 2 sides of the map. Right now, they're camping one side.
Waiting in the brush, IgNar hovering nearby. Prey will go ahead and walk out. Seems like BBQ doesn't want to take the risk. Checking, he's gonna walk even closer, throws down the ward, and well, that kills that. No catch.
A couple of laugh cancels there to show that he was aware that they were trying to see if they could dupe him. Vision battle starts. Baron spawning in 2 minutes, so usually we do see the start of the Vision game about a minute and a half before. Gnar can just happily push on the bot side. The Rascal will be there to answer. Rascal needs to be grouped early, I feel. Another flanking play with how much damage Tempt has means that if you see a teleport behind you, you have a ward behind you and see that the Ornn is coming, you know that's what, 6 seconds before the Ornn finishes teleport and also channels the ultimate. In that 6 seconds, Tempt does a hell of a lot of damage, and maybe the front line is dead on the side of Kingzone. The only beef they have is this Ornn in the front line, so you have to be a lot more delicate with how you play fights now. It's not 20 minutes anymore.
BDD just needs to find the golden shockwave. There's a struggle in game number 1 to try to find the Shrima Shuffle. Didn't get it until the very end, and it was just enough to pick up 1 kill before dying himself and then watching the Nexus crumble. So similar struggles here at the end of the series, as we are going later than ever anticipated here. 3 hours, 10 minutes, just about since we entered into game. And we are still continuing this series with Kingzone and BBQ.
Tempt's respectful item is going to be an offensive one. He's going to go for Bloodthirster, just so both he and Kalista have an overshield to tank as much of the Orianna ultimate as possible, and of course to lifesteal through if that's not going to just end his life. A lot of lifesteal coming through from both of these carries. And Kha'Zix going to die in the blink of an eye. The Orianna pretty fast as well, so how Kingzone are able to close out this game, to me, is a little bit of a mystery. If they're dragged very wide, if Rascal is forced to come in on a teleport, they're super squishy as a 4v4. if they're team fighting, they need to find a way to tussle up and kill Tempt, and that gets more and more difficult as the itemization comes through. Such a narrow win condition here for Kingzone, looking to extend their match win streak to 8 and go 8-1 in the first round robin. Will we see a moment of brilliance from BDD, for example, from Tempt, who is certainly set up to decide this game?
Well, Baron's going to get started up. Gnar goes ahead, uses that grand entrance to get himself into the back line. True Shot Barrage tossed out, but not going to be finding anything. TP just now coming in from Rascal. Baron going low, Smite's been used. Ren's there, but actually still going to be tricked, managing to pick up that Baron. They get locked up here for the moment as Kingzone tries to kite his way back, tries to kite their way back. Crazy jumps in, looks for the Mega Gnar, can't get it in time. Kingzone will just disengage as BBQ find themselves another Baron buff.
And BBQ's Baron's getting better and better as the series goes on. It was a big problem for them in game 1 before they finally got more decisive. Good to see the decisiveness here a couple of times in the series, something that has dwarfed them, or dogged them I should say, especially when Trick is in the lineup. They keep pushing in, drag Kingzone as wide as possible, and then 2 AD carries walk up, and both the poke and the turrets explode very quickly.
Goes down very swiftly here as BBQ take that final outer turret. Now just the ones inside the base remaining. We're going to be looking for those inhibitors here with this Baron buff. 2.5 minutes on the push. Crazy bringing up the mid. Bot side. With a Far Cry hope there for BBQ to prep that one. It's already pushing away from the Kingzone base, so we'll just be focusing on the upper side of the map. At least here for the moment.
Tempt goes back. There's the Bloodthirster, working on a second Zeal item to be just about as oppressive as possible. Super fed late game AD carry, even though the bulk of his damage will be magic. And the Shockwave gets more intimidating, but flashes are back up on both carries. Overshields are there as well. Because he's so far behind in terms of gold, just purely because of the kills that have gone the way, but also to the tune of 30 CS. Hard to have the oomph behind the Shockwave. We've already mentioned a lack of ball carriers to make it guaranteed. If the Kha'Zix is the ball carrier, he's probably going to die in AoE after he delivers the Shockwave, so right now the risk-reward doesn't seem worth it. Peanut can find a pick. See if Peanut can disrupt what seems like an inevitable slow closeout by BBQ and actually get Kingzone back on the road to a series victory.
Great jumping forward, you can see not getting much damage done even onto IgNar of all people.
Elder spawning in 8 seconds. They do see Gnar in the top side of the map, so they know they have the ability to stick to their landing and control this area of the map for now. Crazy will be exhausted if there's a turn onto the Elder, but they don't feel strong enough to do so. Trying to protect their flanks as much as possible.
Tempt poking in from the side here. Nice chunk onto
Elder
Gorilla.
started.
Has been started up. Ghost is getting those Ren stacks. They're going to turn in and look for Crazy. Forge God will go ahead and get the pop-up as the quickness comes through from IgNar, getting everybody on the side of Kingzone, but it's not going to be enough to save the Gnar's life. Elder Dragon, however, will be picked up by BBQ, and they're just going to go ahead, tail, and run away.
Yeah, both buffs. There's no ability for Kingzone to rush down a single lane and answer with a turret, so it's a kill and no more. Some more farming, perhaps, for BDD, who will back away. Crazy was just trying to show some presence in the mid lane, but using his flash and dying was perhaps unnecessary. They do get the Elder for it, so the trade in general is not bad, as we're already seeing some pretty bogus crits come out from the Corki, and they only get bigger.
They've been bogus for about 15 minutes or so now. Since that second item came in. Started scaling up, but now he's got the Bloodthirster ready to go.
He thought about flashing in there.
Oh yeah, just didn't know who else was over the wall.
Tempt has already shown that he's happy to use his flash aggressively, used it off screen onto Prey earlier in the game. Walking up.
Nearly killed him too.
So many buffs. Crowd is roaring early in anticipation. They're feeling like this might be the big BBQ surprise victory.
I mean, yeah. Look over at that side of the audience. That's everyone who was just losing their minds a few seconds ago. So BBQ feeling invigorated here. The fans, by this current performance, game 2, a bit of a setback, but they have certainly turned things around here in game number 3. Still 8,000 gold up, despite the 7-7 record on the board.
Big worry for Kingzone fans, at least from my perspective, is what does a one-team fight look like for BBQ? How big a mistake has to be made by Tempt or Ghost to basically die at the start for Kingzone to actually try to play front to back? Because it's so much damage, it's a little tankiness on the side of Kingzone, and any standard team fight should go the way of BBQ. So that's what I'm kind of racking my brain for here. So it's going to take something unexpected to actually change what seems an inevitable push further and further into the Kingzone base. They haven't broken it yet, but they've basically done everything but dot the I's and cross the T's of getting an unassailable lead.
Seems like Kingzone might just be waiting for BDD to get the completion on his death cap. As the needlessly large rod of the blasting wand so far. Until then, Trick throws out the ultimate, does get the catch onto BDD, but no follow-up coming through. Call the Forge God does pop up too. Shockwave will drag Trick back in, will flash away, and manages to actually make it out with his life redemption. Kind of a little bit more HP back over to him, and Peanut, he's got to get out of there. One crit from Tempt could just finish him off, and Kingzone, you know, they go pretty all in on finishing off the Sejuani. You can see he's already nearly topped up again.
Warmogs.
Thank you, Warmogs.
As an item, able to do that. That was a smart idea from Kingzone to try to isolate away Trick, because it was mini-Gnar from Crazy as the fight started. They couldn't cement the kill, and now we just return as if nothing ever happened. To Kingzone's credit, they have pushed out top and bot lane, so for now at least, there isn't the global reason for anyone to rotate. That's why the Siege, despite having a fully gone or fully built Corki, or thereabouts, just needs a second seal item completion. They will be forced to back away. So side lanes pushed out, stopped the game from really tipping towards Kingzone, BBQ any further than it already had. We'll see shops, 6 items now complete on Tempt. He needed another way to push forward in this game. He has a 4,000 gold lead, 3.7k gold lead over the Orianna. Game 1, nothing to write home about. Almost no interaction from BDD. Game 2 looked good, but Game 3 again shocked us with how high they prized the Orianna, and really no evidence to justify it based on the rest of the game.
Not at all. It's just been rough stuff here for BDD. These single-man ultimates, I'm pretty sure we will hear Abyssal Voyage coming through as Kingzone's going to be charging down the mid lane. They see Crazy up and top. It's gone big. Baron has respawned.
They try and make a Baron play. Tempt us back in base.
Crazy is going to be exhausted, but they're not quite doing it. They want to get a pick here first. Rascal goes over the wall, but can't get a catch.
Anyone is golden. Every time BBQ tries to set up their minion wave so they can make the same group push in mid lane, Kingzone have been trying to be decisive in getting a pick. They've hurried BBQ, but not been able to get that pick they crave. Peanut is not spotted on the bottom side, but has to be oh so careful. Can be two-shot by the Corki.
Yeah, if he pushes in at the wrong time, could just go down. Now BBQ going to have the inside track onto the Baron.
So far the Baron has been happy hunting for them, but not feeling confident enough to start it just yet.
Crazy isn't exhausted. Oh my god, Prey. He's going to get chunked out. We talk about how busted Zoe is, but Corki, honestly, this late into the game, he might as well be Zoe with just very shorter, much shorter range.
6-item Corki, one of the most fearsome champions in the game. IgNar tries the initiation, shorts on the Grand Entrance. They weren't going to invest the ultimate there. No Fate's Call to guarantee the ranges. Now Rascal.
Yeah, very tanky. He gets a charge off. He creates a little bit more distance between him and the BBQ members. Keep himself rather healthy, and now ultimate's going to be down from the Sejuani. Forge God comes through yet again. They pop up Trick. The way to get on top of him. Wallop connects in onto Peanut. Now into the back. It's going to be IgNar. He gets a double knockup. Coming through. Peanut jumping away. And all of Kingzone trying to kite their way back. Shockwave comes down for the damage. Not that big. They're going to hit onto Trick. Knock him up. Rascal nearly goes down, but the Devourer keeps him alive here for the moment. But IgNar gets another knockup with the Grand Entrance. Gorilla will be able to kite back. BDD relatively healthy as is Prey, but they're low on mana. Might just be a bit of a stalemate as they kite back.
Amazingly, no one dies in all of that. Huge initiation from IgNar. Doing his best Alster impression, but the health bars are low. Like you say, the mana bars are low. Do BBQ go back to the Baron? For now, they're being threatened out of it. Abyssal Voyage is up. They'll be able to regroup here. Kingzone do not give up Baron, and they do not yield.
Abyssal Voyage comes back through. BDD and Gorilla rejoined here into the mid lane. BBQ now eyeing it up. Tempt is going to start this. TP coming through from Rascal, who is down in the bottom lane. Trying to prep the wave. Peanut wrapping his way around. 4,000 HP comes in. Call the Forge God yet again. Pops up Trick. Pops up Ghost. And BBQ are trying to kite back. Ghost flashes out. Crazy has the Gnar, but can't find a way in. Kingzone might just scoop this up for themselves. It's down to 5,000 HP. No Ren stacks available. It's just going to be a smite war if they can try to go for it, but they can't. Kingzone get the Baron, but can they make it out with their lives? They still have to worry about Tempt. The Shockwave goes through. Tempt goes slow. He Valkyries away right as Rascal tries to get the charge off, but they cannot lock him down now. Looking for Ghost.
No flash.
Slowed up. Tongue Lash comes through. Blade of the Ruin King to lock him in, and Ghost has been taken out. Prey finds the kill, and just like that, Kingzone try to find their way back into the game.
They were able to outplay them around the Baron. Defensive flash from Ghost. They were still thinking about ideas. The Baron stayed leashed for long enough. They rush it down. They're recalling here.
Trying to recall. That's going to be another double pop-up. This could be a disaster for Kingzone. They get the shields coming through. Tempt trying to fire away. They get nothing more than a delay for now. Kingzone say, screw it, we'll just stick around. Call the Forge God yet again coming through, looking for Tempt, but the Valkyrie takes him out to safety, and the Tongue Lash does not connect in onto Crazy. Short hop away, gets himself out of there. Kingzone now can try to recall it yet again. It seems like they have other interests on their mind. They start pushing up this mid wave, but Tempt just does too much damage. They're dissuaded, they will go back.
Such a tense game. Very extended push and pull around the Baron. Kingzone making the smart call to rush down the Baron when they saw that BBQ had fully disengaged in many ways by defensively flashing and all the other things they had to do to get out of the oncoming Kingzone. The fact that the Baron was slower on the start allowed Kingzone to get into position with the Abyssal Voyage, and now it's Kingzone with Baron. Another big mistake from BBQ, and Kingzone might be able to steal their lunch money and actually win this series.
Right back in here. Full items ready to go. So holding onto the boots. Not sure if we're going to see him sell those here with this Ezreal. Kingzone trying to move up their vision line into the lower half of this jungle. Drake very far forward. Goes for the smite and onto the red buff. Seems like they will be able to make it out with their lives, but that was a bit bold for this part of the game. But Kingzone can go ahead and beat up with this wave here into the bottom lane. Finally knock down one of these inner turrets.
Well, we've seen an inhibitor turret go down. The first one of either teams be on the side of Kingzone. IgNar once again threatening from the sidelines. So many cannons.
This turret is just getting melted. 3 Baron-empowered cannon minions will just go ahead and whittle away at. There's nothing that BBQ can do, and we might have the first inhibitor of the game going down in favor of Kingzone. Massively against the run of play, and yet again, a very long game that Kingzone is being taken to here. 47.5 minutes on the clock, and we're still not that close to this game being over, it would seem.
The best thing Kingzone can say about how they've played this game is how well they've defended their side lanes to stop the Baron buff pushes from BBQ actually yielding their own inhibitor. BBQ have been ahead for so long, have farmed Corki for so long, yet have never been able to be in a position to break the base. Still, the side lanes push so well for Kingzone. Elder Dragon spawning in 5 seconds. Will this be the final contest to decide the game?
It might be. You can see they were looking for a catch right there. Ball got thrown onto Peanut. He went invisible. They were looking for a shockwave. Trying to lock down the members of BBQ, take them out, and then safely take the Elder Dragon, but just did not have the setup. BBQ didn't buy into it as easily as Kingzone had hoped. Elder Dragon has been started up now, but BBQ is pinching in from the side. Trick has the ultimate ready to go, and Rascal is completely zoned out. Kingzone will peel back. Prey sticking actually around to keep this Elder Dragon in contention. It's not reset, it's down to half HP. No Ren stacks here for Ghost. It's going to be another smite war call. The Forge God comes out from Rascal, gets the pop up on the 2, and it's going to be stolen away by Trick. He takes it, now Gorilla gets melted down, has to pop the shield very early as Prey jumps away. Shockwave only going to find one. The Sejuani gets dragged back in, and Rascal goes low. The Power keeps him alive for the moment. Redemption popping up the Sedge yet again. Kingzone trying to get out of here, but they have BBQ surrounding them pretty much on all sides. They'll just be able to recall in lane, but now BBQ, they can go ahead and start charging down the mid.
They don't have any chase, though, when it comes to actually forcing kills. They got the buff, but couldn't keep the fight going.
We'll just peel back.
IgNar's ults were done, and you're correct. It's just going to be a Drake buff, an Elder Dragon buff, no more, no less. They back away. There's no more items to buy. The gold lead means nothing between the two teams now. That's basically everyone, sort of the supports, are fully decked out. we take a deep breath. We remember there's another series day. We've already had a weird and wonderful first series.
We're looking at potentially a 9 p.m. finish for our first series.
You know, I didn't have any plans, but tonight?
Fortunately, I didn't make any either.
All we get is to be front row for some very absorbing League of Legends. Kingzone making this comp work in a way that I didn't expect. Late game Orianna, when the shockwaves have been registering, and we should note, of course, did not register in the last fight, has been able to threaten the backline. Look at this item purchase from Corki. He's actually gone Void Staff this game. Stole the Static Shiv, went for Void Staff. Ultra late game Corki item for most of history. Those magic damage crits, they got bigger.
Much to the disappointment of Kingzone, that is. You never want to hear the words bigger crits when it comes down to Corki. Ultimate going to be invested here by Trick as he trying to get a pick on the Rascal, but he'll be able to flash away. Keeps himself nice and safe. Now losing out onto that ultimate for the potential dive for BBQ as they still have this Elder Dragon buff for 40 seconds, but might just expire. Might not actually get to use this in a combat setting.
Yeah, with the side waves, again, so well organized by Kingzone. You see the blue pings from BBQ onto top and bot, understanding that Kingzone have allowed themselves to play one lane because they've been so good at engineering side lane pushes against BBQ. So BBQ keep getting the minimum with their buffs, whereas Kingzone almost rampaged the base with the one buff they were able to claim largely under the nose of their opponents. Side waves, again, a competitive only special color point to talk about. Side wave management from all these veterans on the side of Kingzone have been massive. Rascal's in the shot, but back away.
We have double super mega lockets.
Interesting. Is the most stats possible, so believe it still gives diminishing returns on the shield. Don't quote me on that one, but that's my understanding. Could have been patched out in one of the intermediate patches. The Ornn items still are not fully complete. Orianna still working on a 6th item, amazingly, at this point in the game.
Yeah, with 500 CS.
But only 4 assists, no kills.
Working his way over there.
No kills on the Orianna just yet.
Oh my god. Crit there on the prey. Chunks him out quite considerably. Be alright here for the moment though. Tongue Lash not going to get the connection. Zone. Try to posture forward, but
problem for BBQ is
confidence.
But it's all about BBQ. They're playing one lane. Both side lanes are pushing against them. Kingzone are not being dragged out. It's a failure in macro from BBQ, unless they can pull this off.
Up onto Gorilla, he's going to get locked down. Pops the shield to stay alive. Forge God yet again getting a double pump, and BDD, massive whiff! As Crazy goes forward, gets a double pushback, and Rascal is under fire. Might just get taken out, and he does. BDD might have just handed a win or helped hand a win over to BBQ. Double pop up yet again here from IgNar. Gorilla gets to the Devour, pops the shield, and keeps the Orianna alive for the moment, but now BBQ are chasing in onto the remaining members of Kingzone and could just turn straight in onto the base. Last second, they managed to get the Abyssal Voyage off, but they have to go straight back into the fountain to try to stay alive, and BBQ are turning their eyes onto the inhibitors.
That might actually stop the game from ending here. Insane that they did not have it interrupted on the back timer there. It's just going to be the inhibitor. Gorilla knew the exact timing of the channel. They're going to run to the Baron, but if 2 people had died there, as they should have, the Abyssal Voyage was not cancelled, the game would have been over.
Very bold call there from Gorilla to go for it. Knew the timing well, was able to pull it off, but now it's going to be another Baron going over to BBQ. It'll be a bit of a suicide run for Peanut to even try to take that one away. So it's not worth it. They will just surrender this. 3.5 minutes, BBQ not going back to base. They're cutting their way up to the top lane, it looks like.
Because they think that Kingzone is on other parts of the map trying to make things happen. Watch the replay. Initiation from IgNar. It looks like it's going to be...
He thought he threw it over the wall.
Very even, but the moment that you see the shockwave whiff, you go all in, Achilles. There's no reason to stop. There's no shockwave to respect. In the picture-in-picture, we can see that Kingzone were able to stop BBQ from taking the top lane inhibitor, but this should have been deciding the fight. Gorilla lives on 200 health after all of this, and then has the balls to channel the ultimate here. No interruption.
Just
Pixels, half a Teemo away. Teemo had a big lunch, would have been hit there.
We're having a lot of that today. And yeah, so, okay, recap. Was up towards the top side there for BBQ. No turret taken, but they weaken it considerably. Kingzone started to push down for the inhibitor, but it seems like with BBQ backing with the Baron buff, faster recalls, of course, Kingzone away. no further objectives taken.
Oh boy. We're here again, Achilles. 55 minutes.
This is quite the day already, Papa Smithy.
I'm ready for some more games. Come on, what do you got? Kongdu and KSV?
He's got to go 40 more minutes to break the record.
6 items
Somehow
now.
it still blows my mind thinking about that. It's 40 more minutes to break the record.
It blows my mind that 500 CS Orianna took 52 minutes to get 6 items, but finally has a Banshee Veil.
Sometimes it just happens that way.
There were elixirs and stuff along the way, so that's one of the reasons delayed, but also just no kills in the game at 531 CS. Upgraded. Trinity Force completed for Praise, giving him a bit of stats here and there. Didn't go for any other completions. Another return to the top lane inhibitor. Of course the bot lane's pushing out. It always is when it's Kingzone DragonX.
They just have that prep ready to go. But I mean, at this point, it
will slow push. So if they can wait 2 more minion waves, things will look a lot better on the bot side.
1.5 attacks onto that top turret. Go ahead and take that out. Peanut starting to poke around, maybe looking for a way in onto Crazy, but he's quite tanky. So getting anything done against that Gnar is going to prove difficult.
A lot of ways to poke the Banshee Veil off of BDD. A rocket will do it.
Hasn't been able to get it yet.
And there is the minion wave that will need to be answered. Pushing into bot side. Blue pings on it. They know here. They've had 55 minutes of thinking about minion waves, and finally, Ecstasy for BBQ. They've got one that has to be respected.
Yeah. We were talking about triple cannon before.
Oh, it's so big. All right, up the top side. This is the right play.
True shot
Take
goes
the turret.
through, but Prey doesn't hit a damn thing. Turret goes down, inhibitor now exposed. Bot lane about to be the same exact story. Crazy, ready to transform. Prey desperately trying to hold on to this, just skirting on the outside range of those rockets.
Rotation.
Tongue lash down, he jumps in aggressively. The confidence from this man on this Ezreal pick.
They know they're
bounds.
Finally getting out-rotated 55 minutes into the game, trying to make things happen. Had a Tahm Kench next to him. Crazy, meanwhile, slowly poking down this inhibitor. We'll eventually get it. Rascal gives it up. They're thinking about engage top side, but BBQ pull back. Good communication so far from BBQ on what could be the pivotal passage of the game.
You see Peanut just doesn't know what to do. He's hovering back and forth between top and bot. Hip will go down. Crazy claims that one here for BBQ. 2 now eliminated. They want to make it the full 3. That pokes in from the side, but this poke doesn't really offer much outside of the slow. No damage really on this Kha'Zix at this point.
That's the back line.
He's on the back. They look for Ghost. The shields come through. Shockwave does delete him this time around. Gnar stun into the wall. Does lock up too, but now BBQ are the ones headed for the hills. TP comes in. Tempt, he's going into the base. He's going to be looking for the finish. It will cancel it out, though. The pings come through from Kingzone. They immediately peel over to the super creeps to eliminate those.
A million things happen at the same time. Tempt forced the rest of the team to back away. It means they can't chase onto the couple of members they were trying to go, the stragglers of BBQ. Peanut got access to the backline because we're so late in the game. There's not enough vision on the map, Achilles, to fully spot out. Certainly, the always invisible Kha'Zix. They get the assassination. That time the shockwave hits. Now we got the Ultra 6 items. A pretty damn sweet hat now complete for the Orianna. But still, we are no closer to knowing who wins the game. Still Kingzone with 3 kills in a fight. If they go 3 for 0, maybe the game just ends.
Toss the gold count out the window. Doesn't even matter remotely at this point. 9-8. Nearly an hour into this game. Mid inhibitor has respawned, and Elder is just 20 seconds out from rejoining us here on the Rift. Kingzone do not want this to get scooped up by BBQ yet again.
Gnar is top lane as Mega Gnar. So Kingzone are happy to chase in. They know Mega Gnar won't be able to react.
Yeah, Blast Cone going to get used. We'll take him out to safety.
Is Gnar just going to try and take the inhibitor in exchange for the Elder? That's a possibility.
Dragon getting focused out now. Trick waiting over the wall. Doesn't have vision at the moment. They'll use a Scrying Orb just to try to spot it out. They'll throw out an ultimate. Doesn't catch Peanut. Redemption coming through for the Hail Mary steal, but Won't be
Two
found, but
inhibitors
there's
gonna go
two people
down.
in their base. Yeah, one of them being Tempt. Gorilla,
They
he
interrupted
tries
him.
to get the Abyssal Voyage off, but it's not going to happen. Peanut goes low, has to try to kite his way out of here, and Gorilla might just pay for this one with his life. The blast cone pops them back in. Shockwave not going to get the connection, but the members of King Zone, they're not dying, but they're not getting back to the base. Both inhibitors have now been taken yet again, and it's super creeps in all 3 lanes pushing them down.
And it's one of the best times to outthink your enemy. There was no attempt at a steal. Trick did not want to go in for any sort of smite steal. The delay while 2 people backdoored both mid and top lane inhibitor. The interrupt could have ended the game, but again, no one dies. They push in. They now have all sorts of buffs onto the minions, onto their items to be able to finish the game. But still, we're no closer to seeing that Nexus fall. We've been baited enough times, and we don't even have an Azir to point to.
We don't. No Azir, no Sivir in this game to draw it out.
No stopwatches even. No problem, says Korea. We'll find a way to extend.
Yeah, we will just work our way all the way in. Oh boy, here comes the bait. That's going to be the knock-up from 2. Peanut goes low, immediately has to jump out of there. Forge God helping the disengage. King Zone will just be sticking around. 3 waves of super creeps means almost no chance at a Baron contest, and that comes up in 5 seconds.
Well, if you're staying up late in North America to watch this series, apologies, you're going to bed real late.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not sleeping at all. Maybe stick around for Kongdu.
Maybe you've
versus
already passed
KSV.
out in the middle of this.
This is our 5th Baron of the game. Feels like it.
It's something like that. I don't know the actual count, but either way, it's a Baron.
Not an 8.4 Baron, unfortunately. It's an 8.3 Baron. We've already had 2 Elder Dragons this game, and this is with 10-minute respawns on them. All right, we push in. We wonder. Orianna for wave clear, not that good against Baron minions. Ezreal for wave clear, not fantastic. Kha'Zix making something out of a late game, needs to find an exchange. If you can exchange your life for Ghost or Tempt, you've done your job as the Kha'Zix, but getting access to those lanes, very difficult. You are slowly being able to stop all 3 lanes from pushing, but you can't spend so much time out of your base post 60 minutes as Kha'Zix for too long, so eventually it's going to be 3 minion waves pushing in for BBQ.
Bot and him getting ready to come up shortly, but top and mid have quite some time left on them. Prey, a nice hit there by Tempt and super creeps. Empowered by Baron, now crashing into the Nexus turrets. 1 already down to half HP as Tempt looks to finish this off. Everybody's so grouped up, the hits from these rockets are starting to rip apart the HP
Kingston
bars.
have to initiate, otherwise it's going to lose, you feel like, to the minions.
Yeah, another wave coming in. They have to do something, and they have to do it now. Nexus is now exposed. Call the Forge God comes through. Yet again, just finds Trick. Seems like he's got a magnet for these things. He'll toss out his own ultimate, but it's going to whiff. But it might not even matter. They might be able to just finish it off right here, starving King Zone out, smothering them in super creeps. The wave still pushing in. A couple hits going forward there on the Nexus. Peanut going down to half HP. He'll get frozen mid-leap. The power comes through from Gorilla, tries to keep him alive. Redemption coming in, the shield does get popped. Shockwave connects on the 2, but barely does any damage to Tempt. And he's flying away at the Nexus, and he'll be able to get it all the way to 3 games. BBQ lose 0-2 to MVP prior to this match. They come in and they take down the 14-0 win-streaking King Zone DragonX all the way into Game 3. They command it, and now they turn their LCK spring careers around.
3 hours, 40 minutes of battling between BBQ and King Zone DragonX finally decided by a Nexus rush. Took so long for BBQ to actually get their lanes in the position to break the base. They finally break the hearts and the win streak of King Zone DragonX. And you alluded to it, Achilles. We could have had a week, perhaps we should have had a week, where 12-0 Africa took on 16-0 King Zone DragonX. This is as far away from that as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Both these top teams, top 3 opposition, will be coming in off a match loss. And King Zone DragonX, no Khan in the last game, was Rascal for the final 2. But BBQ with a famous victory, stomped in 23 minutes and 45 seconds against MVP to start the Lunar New Year break. Come back in front of their faithful. A squealing crowd sees them actually beat King Zone DragonX. That's the end to a first round robin that has been amazing. We've seen upsets aplenty. We thought we knew a lot about Korean League of Legends after 2 weeks, after 4 weeks. First it was KSV, who looked unassailable. Then it was King Zone, who are on their win streak. King Zone still had good patches in this best of 3, but they are beaten by the previously only 2-match win, BBQ.
It doesn't put them above SK Telecom on the standings. BBQ will remain right where they are, but that's at least further away from relegations. Now all they have to do is cross their fingers that KSV cleanly take down Kongdu Monster in the next one, and pretty much their relegation nightmare might be abolished. But BBQ can feel damn good about this win. No one would have put money on BBQ, or somebody very crazy would have put money on BBQ. And I tell you what, they would have won the jackpot here with that bet, because fan vote showed it. You and I talking about it coming into this. The record from Kingzone, everything pointed to a 2-0 dominant victory by them, but with Trick back into the roster after the Lunar New Year break, something happened. Something clicked for this squad, and they came out swinging the day, and they hit a home run.
Coordination much better for BBQ than we've seen in recent memory, paying off some of the preseason expectations of what looked like a talented roster. Corki, free-farmed, predictably plenty of damage. Ezreal also known for it. Notice only 25,000 out of the Orianna. The reach for the Orianna was a failure. BDD did let down his team here, it feels like. Whether it was his decision to go for the Ori that early or the call from the coach, the Ori did not contribute in a way that would have justified it. Corki, however, was fantastic, and BBQ with the famous victory. You said abolishment of relegation hopes. We're still too early for that, but this season's subtitle feels like kind of everything's been broken down. All expectations are being challenged from as early as SKT's first losing streak. Nothing that we expected about this season has come true in the manner we expected it to. Still so many questions left.
Of course.
Congratulations to Tempt,
who did not die once throughout the entire game. 88% kill participation. But yes, I mean, the abolishment is more so in the heads and the motivation of these players, feeling now that they can do anything and can climb the standings. Tempt will go ahead, tie FLICKR for third place on our MVP ranking. And yeah, I mean, good God. Guy pulls out the Corki into the Orianna that was so confidently picked by BDD the first round of the draft, and just crushes it the entire game.
A couple of mistakes from BDD here, trying to interrupt the Arcane Assault, not actually having the flash to get out, so eventually was taken down in protracted early game moments. The early game was so long ago, and this particular series went on and on. But the catches onto BDD allowed them to pile up Barons that honestly, they weren't the best at closing out with. It took a long time for the Barons, the Elders, to actually mean something in this game. But the balance of play over 3 games was to BBQ. Excellent game 2 from Kingzone DragonX, but it's not much to hold on to if you're a Kingzone fan. Kingzone are mortal, FLICKR are mortal. SKT finally are on a win streak after their 5-match losing streak. The question I ask anyone at home is, confidently rank the 10 teams in Korea. You might be able to complete the assignment, but I'm not sure if you can truly be confident, because we're still learning series on series. It's not always as it seems in the LCK.
Yeah. This was the one that we missed off screen. Tempt flashing in to try to assassinate Prey. Didn't complete it. He's pretty darn close. And you gotta say, you know, the 2 whiffed ones that we've already seen in this highlight reel, these shockwaves from BDD, how much different would these fights have been if they had connected? This one in particular likely could have just turned the game completely around.
This is so hard. You fall behind, you don't have a real ball carrier. Maybe they were putting everything onto Orianna Zac, but they didn't drop Zac in the first round. It was banned away. They just didn't have a real ability to get the most out of it. This was the amazing escape by Gorilla. Oh boy. Tried that a second time, it was interrupted, but we're not going to show that replay. There was too many fights in this game to go over, and we still got an interview in a second series, as our second series is going to start 4 hours into the broadcast at the earliest, probably 4 hours, 10 minutes into the broadcast. Yep. The BBQ fans can cheer. Feel-good victory for them, and I think Trick will be retaining his spot in the lineup.
Do have to agree with you on that one. Seems like things going rather well for them after the Lunar New Year, so earning that spot for sure. We'll go ahead and hear from our MVP as we throw to Joel for the translation. Joel, take it away.
Guys, this is Joel with your interview translations. We're here with BBQ Oliver's picking up a victory against the Kingzone DragonX, and we're going to be here with the MVPs of the series. We're going to have one this time around. It's going to be Tempt with the solo interview. All the chants coming in for Tempt here right now. Seems like the fans are definitely here for you today. How do you feel about the win?
오늘 경기까지 지면은 진짜 정말 큰일 날 것 같아.
I felt like, if we had lost this game and continued our, bad streak we've been having, it would have been just terrible for us. So it's good that we won this game.
무엇보다 오늘 경기가 굉장히 중요했을 것 같은데 상대는 그런데
You talk about winning this game was important, but it was against a very hard opponent with Kingzone. Of course, having such a tough opposition does put a lot of pressure on you, but during the break, me and my teammates, we put up a lot of confidence for ourselves, and I think that helped us a lot today. And a lot of the rumors have been going around that BBQ Oliver have spent most of the holiday practicing rigorously. I think we were just going with the regular routines of trying to practice as much as we can during the break.
실제로 이 선수 소개를 할 때 보면은 카메라 의식을 좀 많이 하면서 액션이 좀 요즘에
And a lot of the excitement that rises with BBQ Oliver is that whenever you guys are caught on camera, you seem to be a little more excited in the way you express yourself on camera. I think the two guys beside me, they like to tell me to make funny expressions, so maybe that's kind of the reason why you saw that on screen today. Going for the first set, I'm going with Zoe here. And did you feel like it was definitely connecting with you today? I mean, the sleeps were hitting, and it seems like the opponents were a little less careful with that, so I took that as an advantage to push that forward. And we thought that the entire composition that you guys prepared was a little more attacking and a little more aggressive. And how did you prepare that against was a situation against a very aggressive team like Kingzone? I don't think about the actual team opposition, but during the practice when we had in the break, we were trying to practice our team fights, and our confidence in that rose, and we thought that we could go aggressive with it. We also thought the Skarner and Thresh composition formed around very nicely for you guys. Yeah, I think it was a kind of a result of our practice going well without those two champions working so well. And we thought that, Trick was on a low note when it comes to the first few games of the season. But I'm sure you feel great after a great performance put up by the player today. He's always been a great player, so I always have faith in him and I always have trust in him, so I've never doubted him once. We can see one of the plays here. Do you feel like you can get a kill with some of the skill shots that you can chain together? I mean, it was a situation where he was supposed to use every skill that he has available to get out of there, but once he got hit by the sleep, and pretty much a free kill for me. But you're talking about that timing phase when my power level was on a high note, so I can really go in pretty aggressive without much consequence. And the first set was close to a perfect game for you guys, and it was a little weird to see that against Kingzone. And we thought, going into game 2, losing out, maybe you guys, what were you guys thinking going through the next game? I mean, it's kind of losing the momentum that we try to build up in game 1, but losing that in game 2, we had to rebuild it back up quickly in game 3. How did you feel about the Orianna pick that was brought to by Kingzone? It didn't matter too much what champion they picked, but I was trying to focus on the laning phase most of the time, so I'm trying to counter that Orianna with what I had with the Corki. I think the safe laning phase kind of led to the victory at the end. And it seems like, you're cutting out some of the main champions considered by BDD. And it's definitely a strategy that we came in with because we were expecting some of his main champions to come forth in today's series, so we try to think of a good counter play for those specific champions. And you have some people, kind of the relatives or people that came on to cheer for you guys. You're talking about the president here, and President BBQ, who came last time around. We did well, and he's here again. And I'm glad that we put on a show for him today. So
he's got to be a happy man.
자주 오시면은 많이 이기잖아요.
Hope he comes often. Perhaps that equals into us winning more.
예, 그렇죠. 영상 편지가 아니라 회장님께.
He was
Which
here
I
for
say
their first
anything
win
to
when
him.
they became a team.
회장님 사랑합니다.
I love you, Mr. President. There you go.
굉장히 일어서셨던 템트 선수의 이런 뭐라고 할까요? 적극적인 모습을 저는 처음 보는 것 같아요.
I've never seen Tempt so aggressive in his affection, in his expression of affection towards someone else. But you do cut out the consecutive loss streak that you guys have been having and pick up a very good win against a very strong opponent. But anything you'd like to say to the fans that are here out cheering for you guys? Of course, with the second round that are coming up.
응원해주셔서 감사하고.
Thank you for your support.
2라운드도
And the second round robin,
해보겠습니다.
I'm going to try to do our best as well. And that seems to be the end of the interview with Tempt. The MVP, the solo MVP for BBQ Oliver, picking up a win against Kingzone DragonX. That will be a good feel for these guys, and we're going to throw it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel, for the translation. Well, that is it, guys. That concludes the end of round 1 of spring, and we get to start a round 2 just in a couple minutes, or, well, you know, 20 minutes or so from now as we get ready to let the players set up. But yeah, Kingzone DragonX going down, a 1-2 loss for them versus BBQ Olivers. And Tempt very much deserved the MVP win in both of those games.
And now we get to the business end of the season where we have a previous series to draw information from. Here are the rankings, and they're closer than they may even first appear. 4 match wins for the 7th place team. BBQ, also an outside chance of playoffs after a big win like that. Has to be so big for their momentum.
Yep.
But guys, join us. We're not going to take a break. We're not going home. Let's have another best of 3. The second round robin starts now. Kongdu Monster with a team to first beat KSV and end KSV's win streak. What feels like ages ago when KSV were our big frontrunners. Expect some Galio and Jarvan bans, because otherwise we're going to knock up City.
You do speak some minor lies. We will be taking a short break. However, just look for that timer at the bottom of your screen, because we got to let the players get set up in the booth, make sure all their settings are proper. Maybe if somebody is sticking with Crown's new StarCraft strategy of measuring everything out, let them get everything set up nicely how they'd like it. So yeah, we're going to go away for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, guys. We'll be right back with our second best of 3 of the night. KSV versus Kongdu Monster. The League of Legends action is not done yet. We wouldn't have it any other way. So we'll see you guys right back here in just a bit.
From my sweet child.
Coming up next, Kongdu Monsters, KSV, beginning of the end. 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Spring Split.